A rebound, Avdia. Corner three on the way by Poole. No.
Good hustle there by Zaire Williams to block out the bigger Gaffney.
And then Poole picks up a foul.
Jordan Poole's season has been nothing less than frustrating. If you're a fan of Jordan Poole or if you're a fan of the Wizards, you have seen the ups and downs of Jordan Poole's games. But I think we need to start back to when he was on the Warriors and what he was projected to be. He had a really tough stint on the Warriors where, he was going from, the Warriors back down to the G League and then back up to the Warriors and then back down to the G League. It was a kind of like an up and down rodeo that he had where he had to learn a lot in terms of how to be a more efficient scorer and how he's going to fit on the team. From going into a team that definitely was not the championship caliber team that they once were and being pretty much a failing and a losing team, Jordan Poole had to basically learn how to lose but also win at the same time. With Steph Curry out and also Klay Thompson out for a couple of years, he only had Draymond Green whenever Draymond Green decided that he wanted to play. But as many people know, that Draymond Green is not necessarily the best person to be motivated to play in games that he doesn't think he's going to win or games that he's not going to win with Stephen Curry or Klay Thompson. But nevertheless, Jordan Poole, from the time that he was drafted to the point where he had a consistent stay on the roster, improved immensely. Many people on his team, even coaches like Steve Kerr, really lauded him on his hard work on being able to be in the gym, be the first one in the gym, be the last one in the gym. And then eventually he became an important piece for them to win the championship. Of course, he wasn't the piece, but from a rebuilding Warriors team that had James Wiseman, that didn't really pan out for them. They had to pretty much just think of it from scratch and how they're going to be able to beat all these really good Western Conference teams and then, of course, be the best Eastern Conference team that they could find when they get into the playoffs. But playoff hopes wasn't really the real focus for the Golden State Warriors. It would have been okay, it would have been great if they could make a playoffs, but definitely making a deep push wasn't something that they thought that was going to be in their future. And so given the realities of just coming back from a terrible season, having one of your first round draft picks pretty much be a bust in terms of not producing what he was expected to produce, they didn't really know where they were going to be at. But eventually, Jordan Poole was able to get massive freedom to do whatever that he want on the court and was able to pretty much be the best that he could possibly be. And after, winning the championship, a lot of things kind of went downhill from there. He was maligned for his bad defense, for his poor shot taking, and also just not being an efficient playmaking just in general, especially in a system where moving the ball is very pronounced in the Golden State Warriors system. But after the Draymond Green incident, which we don't have to get, in great detail about, the connection with the team has shattered with Jordan Poole and everybody else. There was a clear, whose side are you going to pick? And eventually the owners in the front office said that they're going to choose with the other side, right? And then they ended up trading Jordan Poole to the Washington Wizards for Chris Paul. Now, this is where everything gets a little bit interesting when it comes to the trade between Chris Paul and Jordan Poole. Now, Chris Paul is a very older player in the NBA. He has his, credentials with him. He will definitely be a really good piece to a team, any team that he joins, as we saw when he joined the Oklahoma City Thunder. They became an instant playoff team, I wouldn't say contender, but a team that shouldn't have been in the playoffs, but ended up joining the playoffs anyway. And then when it came to the Phoenix Suns, where he joined Devin Booker, Devin Booker wasn't really known to be a winner at all. And then they got Kevin Durant, and everything just kind of fit into place, especially with the coaching style of Monty Williams. But, for all of his faults, he's still not the greatest defender. He can be a little bit streaky sometimes when it comes to shooting. And he really needs to work within a system that, works with him. And so you give Jordan Poole up, which is probably your best rising star asset that you possibly can have, understandably because the team's connection with Jordan Poole has shattered from the Draymond Green incident. And you give that up for an aging star. Fair, fine. Give that up, and that is definitely the risk that you have to take. But Jordan Poole was given the keys in Washington, where he is allowed to pretty much do as much as he wanted. And to a lot of people's expectations, we really did think that Jordan Poole was going to be the person that would take a lot of shots. And we're not necessarily wrong on that. He's taken a lot of shots, especially in the preseason where you saw a lot of his shots selections that he was taking. Was only good if he was on point. And that is the thing with Jordan Poole, is that he is a really good player, but he needs to be on fire for a lot of the shots that he could take because he's not consistent enough to make those shots. Now, do I believe that he can make those shots given the right amount of work? I instantly do, for real. He's one of the most interesting players to watch in terms of how free he plays. He plays with a nice, like kind of like a freestyle, kind of like an abstract painting. It's very free. And it's really nice to watch somebody's game like that work in a very regimented system like the NBA. And so Jordan Poole, given the keys to the kingdom, the keys to the team of Washington Wizards, we expect it's going to be a little bit interesting of a ride. And it has been. It's been actually really frustrating, especially if you are a Jordan Poole fan. And there's multiple reasons for that. One, his shot selection. His shot selection is shot making. He, like I said, you need to be hot for him. And if he's hot, there's nothing you can do. There's absolutely nothing you can do. But like many stars, you have to figure out, okay, what happens when I'm not making shots? And especially since he's going to be the 1-2 punch with Kyle Kuzma, you have to figure out, okay, how am I going to impact the game without making shots? Because that is simply going to happen on some nights where now teams are actually, scouting for you. They're looking at your weaknesses, looking at your strengths, and trying to take away those weaknesses and take away those strengths. And so you have to figure out, okay, how do I impact the game? And for the most part, most stars figure it out that, hey, I have to get my teammates involved that hasn't gotten the ball in 40 minutes. And so Jordan Poole, and this is one of the things that he has to get a little bit better in, is actually playmaking, getting teammates involved. We've all seen the clips of a couple of his teammates asking for the ball as he took a sidestep in 3, and he actually ended up making it. But how many times are you going to, deal with that type of shot making and it not go in? What is that going to do for his teammates' morale when they see that he's taking all these shots that are, difficult shots to make, shots that he can make, but it's not shots that you are most likely going to be consistent in. But it doesn't go against the idea that you can make difficult shots and make a living off of making difficult shots. Now, he might not be the player right now to make those difficult shots, but just like many other star players, many other superstar players, they have to grow and evolve into that type of player. The one player that I could definitely think of is James Harden, and how James Harden revolutionized the game in terms of just having a whole lot of step backs. Now you see everybody making step backs, shooting step backs, but before it was not really a move that you would really see, at least as often as we're seeing in the NBA. So even though he's not making these difficult shots, if he continues to work on it, I do believe that he can be very consistent in those. So lo and behold, the Wizards, as everybody thought was going to happen, sucks. Wizards is terrible. I mean, team composition-wise, they're not the best. So I can't really blame too much on Jordan Poole and how he's bringing the team down. Even if Jordan Poole is playing the best basketball that he could possibly play, they're probably a 10th seed at best, maybe a play-in team at best. But they're nothing more than that. First round exit, if they make it past the play-ins, nothing more than that. The team's construction is just not good. And the Wizards have never been a team that was properly constructed. I mean, even with Bradley Beal and John Wall being on the team, you have two primary guards who had to kind of just work with what they had, and they only had one good team throughout their whole tenure together. Only one good team where they did something, and then they lost because the team is just simply not good enough, especially to win a championship. And so this year is no different, but the issue with that is that when you have a star that you're really counting on to be your number one, who's really not a number one yet, and you have a bad team, all their lowlights are going to be exaggerated and put on display. And we've all seen the Jordan Poole moments where it's just not good. It's not good whatsoever. And I'm not the type of person to, jump on the Jordan Poole hype train when it comes to hating him and anything like that, because I do believe that he is, if we're looking back to his Golden State Warriors days, he's a true talent to behold. He's one of the best players that I have seen in a while. But when are we going to get back to that? When are we going to get back to the Jordan Poole that we've all thought he could be? When are we going to get back to the Jordan Poole that we all thought that he would end up being at this point of his career? We don't really know. But I do say this. If Jordan Poole wants to get better, and I do believe he wants to get better, one of the things that he has to instantly get better is improve the shot making and the shot taking abilities for his team and get his teammates more involved. Because we need the Jordan Poole that was on the Golden State Warriors that everybody thought that was going to be the next Stephen Curry. because that's what he needs to be. Not the next Stephen Curry, but the first Jordan Poole.